Oh. Oh, did they set off a bomb?
They,
like the fireworks? Are those fire?
yeah,
Yeah.
either that or they're trying to like blow her off the stage.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
trying to just end it.
Yeah, it's another shooter. Same guy tried to take out Trump.
I love a nice cold beverage on a hot summer
Yes.
day.
Yes. Is it getting hot in here? Do you feel hot at all, or it's good
I
temperature?
mean, it's warm, but like I think we
Yeah,
did
I
it
think-
in the last. We suffered through the last one. We'll be okay.
I was gonna say I could turn the AC on in the other room, so it's not right here if it gets too warm. But right now,
Right. It's fine.
we can just, gradually. It's kind of like practice for sitting in a sauna, because if you're in New York, people are constantly trying to talk to you in the sauna. And
Are they?
oh yeah, if you
when I go into the saunas, like nobody is talking.
which ones do you go to?
The only one I've been to is Bathhouse in Williamsburg.
I've been
or
there a few times.
I think.
So people are not as chatty there, I will say,
Okay.
but
it's more serious.
So in the Russian bathhouse, there's one in the East Village that I've been going to more recently. I like the actual saunas a lot better. And the cold tub is about 10 degrees colder than the bathhouse in Brooklyn, which I love because
I thought the cold tub I actually couldn't get in it. I put my feet in it and then I was like, never mind.
So don't even touch the one in East Village. In bathhouse, I think that one's 50 degrees. The one in East Village is 40. I love the contrast of getting in the cold tub and then going in the sauna and feeling the prickles of your skin. I kind of
Okay.
feel like a body high.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's that your body thinks it's dying, but it does feel like I get this lightheadedness.
it is dying.
Yeah, because you're cooking yourself.
Yeah.
You're literally cooking. So I feel these Pringles, Prickles. There's a guy just eating Pringles next to me. And they're just melted to the can.
Yeah.
It's just like a Pringle slushie.
He offers you one, you have to like reach all the way in.
Yeah.
And get it. Like the last Pringle you got to get with like your two fingers. You're like,
Yeah, it's just melted Pringles in the can, and I just have to lick it off my hand like a dog. And so I'm sitting in the sauna, and I feel this prickly body high come over me, and that I feel more the colder the tub is. That's what, and
Okay.
I like the saunas better in East Village, but people do try to talk to you a lot. Like there were
that seems like not very relaxing. I thought the whole point was to like relax.
So the trick is you have to identify the 2 to 3 guys, because it's always guys, that do laps around the saunas trying to engage in conversation. So if
This
you
is like a red flag for me.
but so last time I was there, there was a guy that came into the sauna and gave everyone a high five. Like a dap up. Just goes, how's it going? How you doing? Yo, what's up, man? You're crushing it. You're killing it. And then that guy left, and I turned to the other people in the sauna and I said, Did you know that guy? And they
Yeah,
go,
what the fuck?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because the way he came in, it was like he had previous rapport with his people, but he knew. And then I
Yeah.
went into the next sauna, and he walked in and did the same
Oh
thing.
my God.
And he stood there, didn't even sit down. He just stood in front of everyone like he was giving a sauna lecture.
Okay.
And sort of like going from person to person, going like, "Hey, how is it?" Something was going on.
Okay. He's
For sure.
definitely the type that would like slap his teammates' asses in the locker room.
100%.
Like, and do like the towel whip.
Yeah.
Hey, good game today.
Yeah, except if you're in a 200-degree sauna, you can't be like, dude, what the fuck? You're like, you get smacked in the ass, and you're like, oh, I really want to retaliate right now, but I can't.
I can't move.
Yeah, I need all my energy to sit up.
Yeah.
I can't do anything to you right now.
Really interesting. That is a little bit concerning.
You definitely get more characters in the East Village sauna for sure, and
Yeah.
the talking in the sauna box, like having a hot room and talking, would be good practice.
Yeah.
For engaging with those characters in the sauna. But Speaking of interactions, I do have an interesting non-sauna interaction that happened this week. Still in a box. Okay. It was in an elevator.
Okay.
So, an apartment sauna, if you will, during the summer, because they still get up to like 110 degrees.
Yeah, no AC.
No AC in the elevators. You get in and you just die for 30 seconds on the way to your floor. So I get in and there's a woman in the elevator. And there's a person I perceive as a man to my left. And so the woman to my right, they're both about like the 35 to 40-year-old range.
Okay.
And the woman says to the man, or who I think is a man, she says, "Hey, how's it going? How are you?" And the guy says, I'm transitioning. I'm in a transition period right now. And the first thing that I kind of like clock the conversation, but I'm not listening fully because it's just an elevator conversation. And he says transitioning. So it's like a buzzword in my head for, corporate America or like just a normal job. Like I'm transitioning into another role. I just started a new job or whatever. So the conversation continues. And then I hear him say, the hormones are having a positive effect on my brain. And the woman's like, okay, that's good. So I realize now it's a guy, or it's a biological male that is transitioning to a female that is in the very early stage and just started taking hormones. And I'm standing there in the elevator and I'm like, that is the only interaction I've ever seen in my life where someone's asked, "How are you?" and the answer has been interesting. Like if I asked one of my friends, like if one of my friends' names, let's just say Chris, and I'm just like, "Yo, how's it going, Chris?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm not Chris anymore. I'm Christina. I'm transitioning. I'm swapping genders." I would stick around for however long that conversation lasted. Like usually the answer to that is so boring. Like, "How are you?" "I'm good. I'm fine." It's whatever. And then you just move on and you go on with your life. But I was just like, wow, that is the only time I've ever been fascinated by the answer to a question, "How are you?"
I think that in other countries, it's like a more serious question. Like if you ask somebody in Germany, like how they are, you should be prepared to like genuinely listen to how they are because they're very literal. Whereas here, it's just like, "Hey, how are you?" That just means like, "What's up?" Like it doesn't mean...
Yeah.
It doesn't mean explain anything. It's just like a common thing to say hi.
Yeah, it's like if you ask me, "How are you?" If my life is going amazing, I say good.
Yeah.
If my life is just normal, I say I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then if it's just completely burning to the ground, I say I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then those are the only three acceptable answers.
Yeah.
In the entirety. If you ask me let's say we were strangers and we had no previous rapport, and I'm checking you out at the cashier, and I say like, "How's it going?" You're like, "I'm good," and you just being polite, you say, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Well, my wife is leaving me. My kids fucking hate me.
Yeah.
And I just found out I have another kid in another family that I haven't even told my wife yet. And she already and you just be like, I did not sign up for this."
I would be like, I kind of did sign up by asking, but that was strange here.
Yeah.
That's not typical.
It's like, I feel like it's an unwritten rule though, that you just say, maybe that's just my own societal conditioning, but if someone asks me, "How are you?" in my mind, I go, I don't want to burden this person with my actual life unless I know them really well. I go, I'm good. How are you? Like, I'm all right. Like, or dude, it's good. How's it going? And I just like flip it back on that person as quickly as possible. This conversation in the elevator where where the woman said to the guy transitioning, "How are you?" and he goes, "Oh, my gender's leaving my body. I'm becoming a different person." I was like, I wish this elevator would just keep riding up and down because I want to actually listen to this conversation. Whereas if anyone else said, "How are you?" I'd be like, I'm gonna, get the fuck out of this elevator.
It's also pretty interesting that they're transitioning to a woman, so they're getting, I guess, like estrogen and progesterone. I think that's how you say that one.
Yes, it was actually like estrogenic something or estrogen.
Yeah, you're getting like hormones.
Yeah.
I find that interesting that they were vibing with them so hard. They were like, I'm great. I would think adding female hormones would just bring the vibe down, you know?
Yeah.
Like, wow, welcome to like just a world of problems.
Yeah, welcome to the everyday of being a woman.
Yeah, exactly. I would think if I was transitioning to a man and getting testosterone, that's when I'd be like, I'm doing great. Like, I'm pumped up. I've got energy. Like, I'm feeling horny as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I would think life is great. But, also, I guess they just feel excited to be transitioning in general.
If you could talk to this, I get if you're transitioning, I'm assuming he identifies as a woman. So let's say she in the elevator.
Yeah.
But he looked like a guy.
Yeah.
So very early stages. Mm-hmm. And if this woman asked you in the very early stages of transitioning, what should I expect from female hormones? What would you tell this woman?
Be prepared to be hungry at random times, like starving. Like I could kill somebody to eat a hot dog right now.
Right now?
Yeah, that's actually how I feel right now.
I'll feed you because I am also concerned about my safety.
I would just say hunger, headaches, fatigue, a lot of fatigue. It's going to go up and down. It's going to change a lot. That's the thing, is that the hormones for women are like constantly kind of cycling every month. So like you're going to be hungry. I don't know why. I mean, I'm happy for them, but I guess I feel different. Like I'm cool with being a woman, but if I had the choice before I was born, I would not choose to be a woman because it's challenging.
Yeah.
And society is not set up for us.
Hungry, headache, fatigue. So,
yeah.
So like basically like POW camp light. Yeah. Essentially is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably it. Maybe emotional too. Like sometimes you'll cry like of joy or of sadness. You know, you can just cry watching like Shrek and be like, wow, they got married, and just start crying.
Oh yeah. You want to hear the most guy thing to cry at in the world? I was watching there's a channel on YouTube, and I've done a deep dive on these guys because I'm just fascinated by them. They're a 20-year-old pair of twins.
Okay.
They're called the Tren twins, these two guys, and they take steroids. Tren is short for trenbolone. So they're like open about taking roids and bodybuilding. And they are posting all their workouts and the build up to their bodybuilding competition. And they are dieting hard. They're hungry. They're tired, but they're still working out. And so like for the last 6 weeks, I've been checking in on their videos, and they're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this competition. Fuck this. And then the next day they'll clock back in and say, I'm actually feeling better today. And they're both hyping each other up, and they're fucking huge. And they're doing the workout. They're like all building up to this one bodybuilding, just like getting on stage and posing. And when it actually happened and I watched the video of the bodybuilding competition, I started tearing up. And in the back of my mind, I thought, this is the first time I've cried at a YouTube video in a while. And it's of men flexing their muscles on stage, just going like, fucking, like, let's fucking go. Like they're fasted. They're like about to collapse. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's
beautiful.
I've been following this pump, this story, these two twins the entire time. So it's just like the difference between like what guys and girls cry at, I guess. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know if there are other guys crying at anabolic steroid videos on the internet.
I'm sure you're not alone. I think there's other people. Maybe you can join a club, I think.
I'm sure there's a club out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Guys who just
want to cry.
Yeah, not even guys who have roid rage or just like roid emotions, but guys who cry at videos of other men on steroids. That group has to be out there somewhere.
I think you should start a club where you should start this club where it's just men that come over and you guys just like cry. You guys just cry together. You put it on the TV screen.
Yeah.
And you just like cry it out.
But we inject each other with steroids first. So it's like a combination of roid rage, but also sadness. So we're like, oh, God, I don't want to cry. Oh, fuck. I haven't talked to my dad in so long.
Yeah, it's whatever you need, Zach. Whatever you need. If you need the injections, if you need a good cry, that's what you should just start the club.
It sounds like if the Hulk went into therapy, like he's sitting across from the therapist and she's just like, just let it out. Just tell me about your problems. And he's like, I don't want to talk about my emotions.
And he starts like getting bigger.
He starts trying to get bigger and it's like not working. He's like, I'm still sad.
Aw, it's like it's like sad a erectile Hulk. Dysfunction, but it's like Hawk tile dysfunction.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you getting into this week? Transition us from sad Hulk steroids to your weekly story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this week has been a little bit crazy, right? Like we met up last weekend right after the former president almost got assassinated, which is still kind of crazy. And I just feel like, America is in a really interesting place. And to make it more interesting, did you watch the Home Run Derby at all?
I did not, but I saw some clips from it.
Yeah, so I watched because Gunnar Henderson was in it.
Hell yeah.
I'm an Orioles fan.
Fuck yeah. Speaking of steroids, it's perfect transition actually.
That is true. Although I know Gunnar, I don't think anybody,
not him specifically. I just meant like baseball,
Gunnar,
like the history of baseball.
Well, then I was going to say that I don't think anyone is on them currently, but I think that's a lie. I do think hot take. I think Garcia, what the hell is his name? I'm going to digress because so many people are like, I don't even know who that is. But I think he's on the Dodgers or something. I don't know. But he's juiced up and it's suspicious. But anyways, yes, steroids. So the Home Run Derby happened. They're cranking balls out into the ether. Gunnar didn't do that well, but that's okay. I was more interested in the national anthem that happened beforehand.
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure, and I mean this, I don't even want you to take this lightly. I think it could have been the worst rendition of the national anthem ever.
That's a big statement.
It is a big statement. So a Grammy-nominated country music singer, Ingrid Andress, got roasted for her rendition of the anthem this year. And I would love to play it for you.
Yeah, because I have so many thoughts banging around in my head right now. Like, was the actual vocal trash? Did she try to do that shit where she does a remix of the national anthem and everyone fucking hates it? They're like, just sing the original.
Okay, let's see. I got to pull the link. The original link got taken down probably out of embarrassment.
Probably her team claimed it.
Yeah.
We can't let anyone see this shit.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to pull up another link. But, there have been some other performances of the national anthem that have also been pretty horrendous. And that's why I really mean this. I think this one tops them all. But we're going to go through a few.
Yeah.
And, you can tell me what you think the worst rendition of the national anthem was.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's see. Oh my God. The news clip. Overhead.
It's part of it. The commentators are like, we have to talk over this.
Now we're going to be
music star Ingrid Andress becoming the latest singer to struggle with the national anthem. For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You can't, I mean, you can't tell. How do you feel about that?
So it was so out of tune from the jump.
Yeah.
But she had, like, you could tell she was confident in it because she kept hitting the out of tune notes louder and louder because it started like, and the home of the, and she kept like, it was almost like watching, I guess, like listening to a car crash that keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, this has to be it.
Yep.
And then it rolls over again. You're like, oh my God, that's fucking horrible.
So I'm not kidding. And I made a TikTok about this because I actually, like, I genuinely, first of all, I never heard of Ingrid. So I didn't know, like,
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was. She could have been like a random, you know, sometimes they have like just like random people from that city. You know, so there's been comedians. I literally thought that she was a comedian.
Yeah.
So I was really shocked to find out that it was in fact a real singer.
Yeah.
And the fact that she also is Grammy nominated. I mean, that producer, wow. I hope they're just like, they should be rich as fuck.
Yeah.
For making this woman apparently top the charts.
I mean, have you ever seen the graphs of the producer showing what autotune does, and you could see the audio and how the autotune corrects it? For this singer, it must be just off the charts out of tune, and then the autotune software is just coming in and like flattening the line down to what the tune should be.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is I have seen terrible performances where the singer has come out after, and also the venues come out after and said, we fucked up the in-ear connection. Because you couldn't actually hear what you were saying.
What we just heard is beyond that, Zach.
Yes, I agree. But if
just
I
take
were
it
her,
out at that point. I do know what you're talking about, but that you can't. You have to like be so lost to start singing. You can't sing like that.
Yeah.
In front of people and on national TV. I mean, first it's Trump's ear. Now it's my ears. Like, it was a rough week to be an ear in America this week. It was really tough.
She is giving confidence, though, to amateur singers or people who are thinking about singing. Because if you see someone who does that and you go, oh, they're singing the national anthem for a national event, you go, oh, I could do that because she's fucking horrible. Mm-hmm. It's like stand-up comedy or podcasting or like whatever. You see someone and maybe they bomb.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I could do that. I could go on stage and bomb. It gives you that confidence of just like being able to get out there and do. And then you go out there and you find out that you're even worse than the person you're watching.
Yeah.
But I legitimately think in this case, just on not being tone deaf alone, I could have done a better performance for the national anthem. Do you want me to try it?
I'm going to play it. Hold on. Let's see if you can match it.
Okay.
I'm trying to see. All right. We'll cut this bit out, but I'm just so annoyed that the link isn't working because now I can't find one without commentary.
Yeah, we can edit the magic in. Oh, there we go.
It sounds like my depression is singing right now.
Sounds like the voices in my head.
Yeah.
Telling me to kill myself.
Bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting.
Oh, did they set up a bomb? Like the fireworks? Are those fire?
You know.
Yeah.
Either that or they're trying to like blow her off the stage.
Yes.
They're trying to just end it.
Yeah, it's another shooter. Same guy trying to take out Trump.
Oh, say does that star-spangled
Is the crowd yelling stop? You know, they're like, stop.
I can't tell
stop.
what they're doing. Is that crowd noise synced up with her?
That was like a live recording. So the original recording that I had, it seems her team has wiped from the internet. So that recording right there was like as if I was in the crowd recording it from my phone.
Yeah.
So that was all live noise happening.
Yeah.
In real time.
It's almost like have you ever hooked up with someone who their sex I don't know what this girl looks like. Maybe that I should see what she looks like.
She looked when I looked
What's
at
her
her,
name?
Ingrid Andress. So like AN dress. Like
Okay.
wearing a dress. She looked like an indie singer. So that was then my second thing. First, I thought she was a comedian. I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, she's a singer. I'm appalled.
Yeah.
Then I was like, she has to be one of these like indie type singers, like Lorde, like as if Lorde is just doing one of her weird things that Lorde does. You know, I thought like, oh, it must be that. And maybe I just like am missing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she's a country singer, a Grammy nominated country singer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it kind of feels like if you've hooked up with someone who looks different than the sex noises that they make, like you're like, oh, I was not expecting that sound to come out of you. She looks like if she was bad, it would be in a different way. Like I'm looking at her, she almost looks like she looks like a pop folk like indie singer where she kind of has like a soft voice. She looks like her bad would be singing too softly, almost like Billie Eilish, where like she's in that whisper register that just like if you don't do it well like her, it just seems off. Like you're just like, oh, say can you see? And you can like there's just like there's like nothing behind the voice. That's what I would expect her bad to be. I wasn't expecting her to have like a power out of tune ballad. And I legitimately think that I could sing better than her if you'd be willing.
I think that I would love to.
I'm gonna give a try right now. Let me take one more sip of Heineken.
Okay.
Just to wet the vocal cords.
It's hard to get a lot worse, so I believe in you.
And this is not a joke. I legitimately think this would be better.
Do you know the lyrics?
Me just not being out of tune. I brought up the lyrics.
Okay,
so
I was gonna say because I actually don't know. Like, I wouldn't be able to sing the national
just so
anthem.
I don't piss off our Patriot listeners. We love you.
Right.
We cross both sides of the aisle with breaking takes.
That's right.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming? I shouldn't have started this high. Who?
I was like, wait, there's fireworks just happening.
If you guys can hear that, there's like construction noises in the background. It sounded like a firework
it's
just
like
went off.
It's like a cannon went off. Like I feel like I'm at like Fort McHenry right now or something.
Let me go a little.
I'm in Gettysburg. I can feel it.
Yeah, let me go a little bit lower, just so because I feel like that's more my register. Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. I feel like that was
beautiful.
better. I feel like that was better than her. Just being on tune with a below average voice.
It wasn't a crime.
Yeah.
You know, like I felt like what she did was hold everyone hostage in that stadium.
Yeah.
And that is just scary. Now, she looked a bit disheveled too, which added a layer. So she looks like she just rolled out of bed. But I also think it took place in Texas. I know it's hot as shit. Like, you know, she's got long hair. It looked a mess. So the next day, after everybody roasted her for this, she came out and said that she was in fact drunk during that performance and that like she has a problem and needs to go to rehab. So she said, quote, "I'm not gonna bullshit y'all. I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself in a facility today to get the help I need. That was not me last night."
When she goes to rehab and you just have crystal meth heroin addicts sitting around talking about their rock bottoms, and they turn to her and like, "What's your rock bottom?" She's like, "I sang the Star Spangled Banner at the Home Run Derby. It was way
Like,
out of
oh,
tune."
that was you?
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that that's your body, that you Star Spangled Banner your way into rehab.
Yeah.
That like everyone else is just like, yeah, I blew a fucking guy behind a dumpster for meth and before my kid's graduation, and
Yeah.
I sang out of tune during the national anthem. Also a terrible for her to make that decision. And look, obviously she has a problem. She's going into rehab.
Yes.
But, like, if you're playing for an hour, I understand music artists getting lit on stage, and then, towards the end of their set, they might start to slur some words a little bit. That's when the microphone comes out for the audience. I've heard music artists talk about that, where they go, yeah, sometimes I just point the mic at the audience because I forget the lyrics, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck. Let me just point it out to the crowd.
Yeah.
But I understand that if it's an hour and a
You
half.
can't do it with the national anthem.
for one
you know?
song to
It's
to
also
be sober
literally
for one
like,
song.
how many lines is it? It looks like it's about like 12 lines or some shit.
I'll tell you right now. Star Spangled Banner lyrics 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines.
That's
There's
really-
8 lines to the Star Spangled Banner.
I mean, come on now.
And she did 8 lines before, or she probably didn't. If she did
There's
lines
more than
before.
8 lines. You stopped at streaming, but that's not the end of the song.
In this version, there's 8 lines.
What about
The way
I'm
it's-
looking
the
at
way
the
it's written out.
the Francis Scott. Okay, I see.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
It's
I
just
got
different lengths of the.
Yeah.
She probably needed to do some lines before
you. I think
went out on
she
stage.
might have. I don't know, but so I have another. So have you heard this happened years ago? In 2018, Fergie had held the gold champion trophy of the worst national anthem rendition until last week when she just got dethroned by Ingrid.
How happy was Fergie when this happened?
Fergie can sleep at night again.
Yeah.
Fergie has been vindicated.
Yeah.
Fergie is set free.
Yeah. It's like when a guy got canceled for Me Too, and then the next day we pull out of Afghanistan, and that's a shit show, and the guy's like, that was quick. The attention is off.
Yeah. So, Fergie, if you're unfamiliar with Fergie, people get familiar, okay? Big Girls Don't Cry, also Black Eyed Peas, need I say more? But she sang the anthem at the NBA All-Star Game back in 2018. And that rendition, until this past week, was known as like the worst rendition ever until now. So I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll play, when she really just kind of does, well, I'll just let you take a listen.
Let me take it in.
Get through the night. That our flag was still there.
God.
Say, does that star spangled banner yet wave
See, in terms of singing, she just sang the national anthem like Fergie. She didn't change it at all.
No,
It didn't
she
feel
Fergalicious
the national anthem. Yeah, I didn't. Technically, it sounded
like Fergie.
like Fergie. She just did it the national anthem.
Yeah.
This girl, Ingrid Andress, just sang like absolute trash.
Yeah.
Like, it was so shit.
Yeah.
She-
You can tell though, like, that first of all, the nerve to say like, let's play ball at the end after like that. Like she just like killed it. She's like, yeah.
That's that coke confidence
Yeah, I
before
love
going
that.
into rehab.
Yeah.
That's like when you have a
Woo!
3-hour conversation
Yeah.
with someone at the bar and you're on coke and you're like, I just fucking crushed that. And the next
Yeah.
morning you wake up and you're like,
That
why
was-
do I have 8 notes of potential businesses in my iPhone? What the fuck was I saying last night?
I also like, you know, your brother's a musician and a drummer, and I would love
And he's also
to.
going to rehab.
He's there right now,
Yeah.
actually. We
He
brought him
should
there
be.
this
He's
morning.
a maniac.
So you can hear, I'll replay just a little bit. So you can hear, if everybody's familiar with like a snare drum, you know, it's like you hear it in marching bands. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I'll insert a snare drum sound effect right here.
If you've
for
seen,
you guys.
I'm sure you guys have seen Drumline with Nick Cannon.
Come on.
Hype ass movie. You've
Yeah.
seen that one, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, but also,
That's my go-to snare sound.
Yeah,
just like
okay.
you've seen Drumline.
of course, you can hear the snare, and then you can hear the drummer just stop, because at a certain point he no longer knows what Fergie's doing. Like you can tell she went off script.
Yeah.
Because he's like keeping time, and then all of a sudden it's just like,
Yeah, you see him looking.
I don't know how to.
You see him looking over at the conductor, like the other
Yeah.
guy's like, "What?
Yeah.
What's the plan? What are we doing?"
So I'll play it again, and we'll see if you can point out that mark. So you can hear the snare. Still there. And that's kind of, he's starting to be like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's slowing down.
He just stops. He's
Yeah.
like, I actually don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I think you could hear a little Whiteley in the background where he's just like,
But no, I love that, because I love when you can pick up on little things where it's like, she just went off script, and he was like, I've done this national anthem before every game all season long. I could just hit the snare with he knows the tempo. And then all of a sudden he's like, wait, I've lost the plot. Like, I don't know.
yeah, I just love the image of the snare drummer looking over at Fergie, trying to listen, just being like, fuck, oh, God, fuck. Oh, fuck, missed it again.
Yeah.
It's just like a professional snare drummer that's like used to like the being on time, and then Fergie just comes in and fucks up his world.
Yes. So I have one more.
Yeah.
And this is not by a singer. So this was problem number one. But this one was just a funny one. So it's by Carl Lewis, who was I believe,
track star.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carl Lewis.
The great Carl Lewis.
That seemed like just like something only like a boy would know, or a track star would know.
I've heard the name Carl Lewis just thrown around with Olympic stuff, and I've read some books on the steroid scandals in the Olympics and other shit. Not that Carl Lewis was a part of it, but he comes up in some things I've read. But
so Carl has one of my favorite renditions of the national anthem.
Hell yeah.
So let's take a listen, and then we can decide what's the ranking order of gold, silver, and bronze medal of worst renditions.
Fuck yeah.
So here's Carl Lewis.
Here we go. Oh, say, can you see? And the rockets ready
He goes, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, wrong words.
For the land of the free.
One more time.
I'm gonna have to give that number 1 just for the mid-song commentary.
Uh-oh.
Run it
'Cause
back.
He's like, you know what? I didn't
fucked that one
expect. Like, he's like, all the times I practiced this in the shower, my voice never cracked, you know? And so when it did, he was like, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So one more time.
Oh,
Start strong. I like the O in the beginning.
Oh, say, can you see?
Uh-oh.
Just like the crack and the wrong lyrics at the same time. Just nowhere. He just goes to the end. He goes
He
from,
was like-
oh, say to end the Rockets and land of the free home. Just like tries to like be like, no one's gonna notice if I just skip to the end.
He's like, actually, like, he had a second thought. As soon as he went, uh-oh, he was like, I should just move on. I should just skip to the last line. I think everybody will be happier that way.
You know what I think happened? I think he's an Olympic sprinter. He goes all out. He gasses out. He's used to just blowing it out early, and then you have a long period of rest. I think with that first O, he hit it so hard and long where he's just like, oh, he's like, fuck, I just gassed myself out right there.
I literally thought he was like Harry Belafonte right there. I thought we were
Yeah.
about to sing like, Deo.
Yeah.
I was like, where are we going with this?
The O was his 100 meters, and then he was out of stamina. He's like, oh, fuck, I still have 3 minutes
Yeah.
left of this shit.
Yeah.
And that's just the nature of a sprinter. He is not used to needing to have stamina for public events. And so, you know, you live and you learn. Carl
Yeah.
Lewis.
So
you
you
know,
rank
sprinting-
him as
sprinting's
the
different.
gold medal for like worst, but somehow best.
I enjoyed that the most because of just the
honesty,
self-awareness
yeah.
and the honesty to be like, oh, nope, this
ain't good.
That's not it.
This
We'll run it back, folks. And he runs it back to the wrong line.
To the last line.
To the yeah, run it forward. You guys aren't here for me. We'll go.
Yeah,
we'll skip to the
yeah.
end. Was that before a game too? Or
It
that-
was.
okay.
It was before a basketball game.
Okay, yeah. I like that, just the self-awareness to just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, fucked up.
Okay.
We'll move. We'll
Yeah.
keep it moving though. I'm not gonna make you relive that. We're gonna skip forward, and you guys are gonna watch.
That's
some
why I
basketball.
included that, because I thought that it was funny. I would say my ranking of like genuine worst, unfortunately, like it is Ingrid's version. I hope that she learns to sing better while drunk, I guess. If if she can't get help
Yeah.
in rehab, she just needs to practice more.
Yeah. It would be so funny if she's in rehab for 2 months, and then her sponsor calls her, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she's like, "I relapsed. I got fucked up, and I went to an Astros game, and I sang the national anthem."
But it was great this time.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just like, that's a wild. I'm still on the fact that like her bottom is singing the national anthem. Like that's a very patriotic.
I mean, it was on
public-
national TV.
Yeah.
It was for a big event, and it was like so bad.
Yeah.
It was remarkably bad.
Yeah.
It was like the lack of awareness to even think that it was decent was what I'm still hung up on, where I'm like, you were hearing this like all around you, but you were still just, because if you watch the video, which I encourage everyone to do, like she's kind of like holding the microphone like really into it, like seriously into it, you
Yeah.
know, that it was like,
That's like
that is where I'm like, ma'am, come on now. Did your ear get shot this week? I don't think so. Like, can you not
Yeah.
hear yourself?
Yeah.
I don't, what happened?
Yeah, I want to see her routine in the green room, in the bathroom, wherever she was getting ready for the national anthem. I want to see Ingrid Andress's pre-national anthem routine. I wanted her to come out because she's in rehab right now.
Yeah.
She's getting better. She's gonna take some time.
I do
But on her
wish her
first,
luck.
On her first post rehab interview, I want her to just do a tell all on. All right, I was on 2 Xanax, 4 lines of Coke. I started drinking at 9 a.m. I popped a Molly right before. Just like I want a laundry list of everything that went into this national anthem appearance, just so I could sort of like get myself in the mindset of like how I think I would be perceiving everything that was going on if I was her.
Fair enough. Apparently, and I see why. So after I heard that, and I told you I really had never, I'm not like a huge country music fan. I dabble here and there, but I don't follow country music enough to have known who she was. So of course, the first thing I did was like, well, what the hell does she actually sound like?
Yeah.
And yeah, like I listened to some of her music. Honestly, hot take, I don't know if you guys are fans out there. That's fine. But like I thought a lot of her top songs to me were, first of all, she was either featured or featuring other people. And they were just like super compressed, like pop country type music where like I think that you could get away with not even being a good singer and still like being on those songs.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I'm seeing here that New York Post and TMZ, a lot of places are reporting that like her music is like taking off because I guess so many people were like, we have to go like listen to what does she actually sound like?
Yeah. It's a roundabout way of doing a great promo. This is a great marketing campaign. I'm going to go listen to her music after this. I had no idea who the hell Ingrid Andress was before this. And I'm just going to go through her songs to just hear what she sounds like. Just, you know, not out in the wild because there's so much auto-tune and like all the production shit that goes into it. But I'm just curious to hear what her songs sound like. And also, this is a testament to how good backup bands can make a poor to mediocre singer sound. There's a show called Kill Tony. I don't know if you watch it.
I do not.
So it's a stand-up comedy show where comics sign up and they put their name in a bucket to do 1 minute of comedy, and there's a panel of comedians. Tony Hinchcliffe is the main host.
Okay.
And so they go up on stage, and then after they do the minute of comedy, Tony often asks them, you know, do you have any special talents or skills? And a lot of people will say, I can sing. And so there have been more than a few people that start out singing on Kill Tony, and their voice is mediocre to not good at all. But then there's a live band on Kill Tony, and then they start going in. There's the drums, there's a saxophone, there's the guitar and the keyboard, and you're like, oh, this is actually a bop. But it's all a trick because the band is the thing that your ear is picking up on, all these really good professional musicians. And then the singer is kind of just like lost in the excellence of the instrumental.
She was lost in whatever.
So does she. She wishes there was a band too that you could
I
lose
wish
yourself
they
in.
would have just cranked up. Yeah, like the audio engineer just starts like cranking up the drum and whatever just to drown her out.
Yeah, the conductor is just like giving the snare drum hits every beat, like dot dot dot. We want to drown her voice out completely. But yeah, there's a there's a super vulnerable. It's a super vulnerable moment for the national anthem because it is just you. And there's not many times where a singer is going to be on stage without any backup tracks, with zero band, just like full power ballad solo national anthem.
You'd think you'd probably show up sober and like prepared to do the job if your job was in fact a singer.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I'm saying.
Relatively sober. There are a lot of singers that are,
course.
you know, they're
if you
the best when they're 3 beers deep.
But clearly, Ingrid has now admitted that she cannot handle herself. And I wish her luck on her sobriety journey. And maybe we'll have a redemption arc. Maybe next year she'll try it again.
Yeah.
I don't think so. She might have to try from like outside of the stadium because they probably won't let her in now. But, you know, I would hold a mic up to her and hear what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's a sign that she needed to go to rehab, is that she couldn't wait to finish a 3-minute song to just get fucked up and do whatever she wanted with the rest of her day. She's like, I need to be fucked up now.
I'm imagining her agent and like her manager. I'm just like imagining them being like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is not gonna. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This is not going
like,
well.
I'm like, are you feeling well, Ingrid? Like, did you just come down with COVID? Like right now?
You just hear in the bathroom. Or just,
can we like take you back to the hotel?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
This is like my dream.
Yeah. And her nose is bleeding. Her eyes are just bloodshot. This is my dream. You guys don't understand. Let's do
like,
it. Come
oh,
on.
man.
Here we go.
I can't imagine being them and like listening to that and being like, fuck, like this is not going to go well.
Yeah. If you think about it though, it is a pretty pathetic musician fucked up story, because how, like, in terms of musicians in rehab, how many musicians are like, you know, we were touring Europe and I was banging 20 whores a night and I was just fucking shooting
She
heroin,
might have
doing
done that.
blow.
We
and,
don't know.
And I was just, you know, fucking coke to the gills. And she's like, yeah, I was doing Xanax in the bathroom of Citi Field before singing the national anthem.
She might. We don't know. This could just be the first time like she was really caught, you know?
It would suck if it wasn't. It would suck if she wasn't able to have like a drug career. Like the first time she dabbled in drugs was this appearance and she just fucked it up. And her team's like, you need to go to rehab for PR. We know you don't have a drug problem, but the only way you shake this off is if you go to rehab right now.
Yeah. Well, we hope that she's doing well. She's sobering up. She's singing the anthem.
Yeah.
In her detox room.
Yeah.
And I wish her well.
The nurses are walking by her room and they're
She
they're
just
listening
hums
every
it to
morning,
sleep.
because like the more, if she's on drugs, she'll be out of tune.
Yeah.
So they're just listening just to make sure she's in tune.
Exactly.
And then one day she's like, oh, say, they're like, we got to go in. We got to sedate her. She's gotten into the supply.
Give us your 7-day chip back.
Yeah, she's off the deep end for sure.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, speaking of, you know, people getting in hot water.
Okay.
A Kentucky motel ordered to pay $2 million after a guest died from a 150-degree shower.
Is it weird that I've like thought about death? That I think I watched too many Final Destinations growing up, and like that has been a fear of mine. Like, yeah, if the water just like goes super hot, it can like burn your skin off and kill you.
Yeah.
Like,
well, this guy's Final Destination was an Econo Lodge.
oh no.
In terms of places to die,
That's pretty sad.
That's bottom 5 for sure. It goes like Econo Lodge, the dumpster of a seafood restaurant.
Yeah.
And what would be like the worst place to die? Like just place, not even way. Like if you're like, I feel like it would be in a room that smells bad. Like if you're dying and you have a bad smell and that's the last thing on the planet like going out, because I feel like the view is gonna be sort of like blurry anyway as you're going in and out. But if you're just like smelling rotten eggs or like someone's shit or sweaty sneakers as you're like passing into the afterlife, you're like, oh fuck, what the fuck is that? Like you can't even fully see what it is. You're just like passing away gagging. You're like, oh God. So the family of a 76-year-old Kentucky man.
Oh, he was old. What a
He was an
shitty
old
way
guy.
to go. Like to have lived for over 7 decades and then you die in a bathtub / shower at the Econo Hotel lounge or whatever the fuck it is.
And it was probably just a shower because Econo Lodge, they probably didn't have a tub.
I think they have to. I've never been in a hotel that didn't have a tub.
Oh, I have. For sure. I've been in the ones where they
Really?
just have the stand-up shower.
Really?
Yeah, where it's just a like a curtain and a shower almost like a dorm room shower, but it's in your room. You ever been in one of those?
No, I refuse to stay in poor places, Zach, actually.
Yeah. Well, we can't all be as bougie as you, Sam. I have also just spent 9 months on and off in Panama.
Yeah, but no,
so it's
actually,
different.
I really haven't. When I will say I am kind of bougie. Like if I'm going on, I'm not somebody that will rough it. I will not stay in a hostel. I won't do any of that. But I've always I've stayed in like cheap hotels, but it's like the tub shower combo because like if you have kids or something, like you need to have a tub.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a totally different experience. I've even been in places that are super nice, and the shower is one of the nicest showers I've ever been in. It has a marble stone ledge. It has dual shower heads, but there's no tub. And I'm like, why don't you fucking have a tub in this place?
I've stayed in nice places, and I've had like when I went to the DR just recently and was at the resort, like it had a tub, which seemed like it was more for a little show and tell, because it was like in like the middle of the fucking hotel room. It was like not.
Was it connected?
It was like I walked into the hotel room, and to my right were like the sinks and the tub were like out in the open, and then the like toilet had its own door, and the shower had its own door, and the shower was really nice. So I've been in that too, where there's like it's its own thing, but I've never been in a hotel room where it was like just a stand-up shower.
Yeah. I've been in a few.
Wow. Where? In America?
Yeah, in New York for sure. I've been in
New York,
some.
I don't put anything past New York.
I mean, I'm just
New
thinking,
York will just give you like a bucket of rainwater and be like, "This is the shower."
So you've never been in a hotel or Airbnb where it just you walk in and it's not a bad bathroom, but it's just a stand-up shower with tile on
an
the
Airbnb,
tile for the floor, and there's no tub.
Understand because it's like someone's home
Yeah.
or apartment that then I would get like I would of course see that I don't need a tub. Like I haven't been in a tub since I was an infant. So I would get it if it was an Airbnb. But if I'm going to a hotel, no, I've never been to a hotel. That didn't have like a tub.
It can be nice if you're not a bath person, because I don't take a lot of baths, so you have more space to just walk around in the shower without the tub.
What are you doing in the shower that you're like walking around? Singing? Are you singing the national anthem or?
Yes.
What are you walking around in the shower?
So I'm walking to the ledge where the marble stones are to blow some lines off before I sing the national anthem, and I put on the cold shower, so I'm shaking during the national anthem. So
then somebody comes in and gives you a high five.
Yeah, there's a snare drummer.
The concierge comes in, high five.
Yeah, exactly. High five. There's a snare drummer on the toilet, just like trying to line up with my out of tune rhythms. But I walk around in the shower? I don't really walk around the shower.
You can't walk around in the shower.
I mean, I guess if I was low on steps, if I felt like I haven't really taken steps that week, and it's one of those dual shower situations in like a really fancy hotel, then you could sort of do square laps while you're just getting hit from both shower heads.
Okay.
And if you have a waterproof Apple Watch, which I don't, but if I did, I could get some extra steps in that way, do some shower cardio,
I guess.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't walk in the shower.
Nobody
I just
walks.
stand.
You just stand. You might move like one step to get like the shampoo or something.
Yeah, I would accidentally walk in the shower if I slipped and I was trying to catch myself. And then maybe, I'd get some extra steps that way, almost cracking my skull open. But other than that, I don't really walk.
I'm so afraid of falling in the shower. I have a lot of irrational fears. I'm afraid. I have anxiety, guys. Like, I really do. And I'm scared of like falling. I'm scared when I come to your apartment. I really don't like the stairs into your apartment building because it's dark and I can't see, and the stairs
even during the day.
It's dark in like right where the stairs are.
There can be a little shadow.
And then the stairs are painted black.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, and I have prescription glasses, so I have my sunglasses on from outside. I have to like take off my glasses and like I'm like a child, like one at a time going down the stairs because I'm afraid I'm going to fall down the stairs and you're like a front desk person is going to be like, oh my God. Like
You should plan a slip and try to see how much money you should get from the building. But I'll edit this part out of the episode. So they can't use it in court.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm sad for this old man because this is like one of my worst fears come to life.
I was just gonna say you having a fear of slipping and falling is a very old lady fear.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those things when you're older and you read a statistic. 80% of people that break their hip after the age of 75 only live one more year, and it's like, oh my God! But
I'm so scared.
You're in your 30s. You're not even.
I'm not even in my 30s.
Yeah, I think you're older than you are because of your fears. Your fears are aging.
I'm not kidding. I get scared when it rains and the subway stairs are wet.
Yeah.
I have a fear that I'm going to like slip down the stairs and like break my legs or something. Or like you can crack your head open and just bleed out.
Did you turn 29 yet?
No, in October. I'll be 29 going on 79.
29 going on 79 in October?
Yes.
What's the exact day in October?
The 10th.
The 10th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you need the time? Do you need my location?
What's the time you were born and what's your current social security number?
I know both answers, but I mean, if you want to steal my identity.
I started doing this thing where I'm putting birthdays in my actual calendar.
Okay.
Because I feel like I don't check Facebook anymore, and
Well, we're not even Facebook friends, actually.
Yeah, and
because your picture looks like you haven't gone on Facebook in like 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I legitimately haven't used Facebook for anything else besides just auto posting podcast stuff in 4 years, 5 years, at least.
I think about the same.
Yeah. But, back to this 76-year-old Kentucky man.
Do we have his name?
Alex Cronus.
R.I.P. Alex.
Yeah. So the family of a 76-year-old Kentucky man was awarded over $2 million for his death from second and third degree burns suffered in a scalding hot motel shower where water temperatures reached at least 150 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary.
Yeah. Court documents from the lawsuit allege that Alex Cronus checked into the Econo Lodge in Erlanger, Kentucky on November 18th, 2021. The next morning, he turned on the shower and was immediately struck by extremely hot water that knocked him to the floor.
Oh, shit.
While the water continued to burn him.
Oh, my God.
The two people who were in the motel with Cronus heard his screams.
Oh, my gosh.
And removed him from the tub. So there was a tub, confirmed tub.
Okay.
Do you think, and I'm just wondering this from my experience in motel, sort of like shifty hotel showers.
Motel,
basically
hotel,
like
Holiday Inn.
Yeah. I'm in
At the
motel,
Holiday Inn.
That song was playing as he's just like, God, fuck.
That would be the worst way to die.
That's the worst way that we found it.
Yeah.
While Pitbull was playing in the background while you're dying of third-degree burns.
Yeah. What's Pitbull's name? Mr. Worldwide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in my experience with, showers in lower tier places, a lot of times you get in the shower and it's not hot right away. You got to wait a while for it to warm up. So do you think there was just, like a split second where this guy thought, oh, wow, an Econo Lodge shower hot right away. This is fucking amazing. And then like 0.2 seconds later, he just starts writhing on the ground, screaming. But like there was like a split second window where this guy thought he was going to have the greatest motel shower he'd ever had.
Yeah.
And
it could have been like that.
It would, and he's just like,
you're painting such a sad, dark and lonely way to die.
I mean, I'm trying to find the silver lining in
that he had
a story
like
where you're getting
moment.
burned to death in an Econo Lodge shower.
Yeah.
That like the one moment where he's like, fuck, and then like it just all goes to
maybe
shit after
because
that.
that like old people they feel cold like all the time. So I'm wondering if he like really cranked it up.
Yeah.
And then was like, oh, wow. Like he was excited for like a really hot shower.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe. I feel so bad. Like what a horrible, horrible way to go. But I'm also wondering, so a lot of my fear with this comes like from being raised on like well water, like in the country. So any of us country folk know, like, yeah, if somebody like flushes the toilet or like does, is using the water in some capacity while you're in the shower, you can feel like the temperature and like then be like, oh, fuck. Or like, oh, it got really cold or something. So I wonder, if like it was like the water temp, like the water boiler or whatever the fuck. I don't know the technology. Yeah. Did it just like spaz out? Wait. I wanted to stop myself from saying that word. You're not you're not supposed to say that word anymore.
Why?
Because it's like apparently a medical thing where like kind of like the R word, you know what I'm saying?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Spaz?
It's like I read you're not supposed to say it.
Spaz, medical term.
Apparently it's offensive.
In medicine, the adjective spastic refers to an alteration in muscle tone
I feel like it's like
by the medical
it offends
condition.
people with like Tourette's.
Spaz definition.
If you have Tourette's, know that I take it back. I didn't mean to say it. I really didn't.
But it can also mean there's two. So the noun is an uncoordinated person or the medical condition, spaz.
Yeah.
Or the verb is to lose physical or emotional control. So if you're getting burned to death by a shower, you're spazzing out. You are losing all physical and emotional control.
What a shit way to go. So I guess like, I mean, I don't want to paint the picture, but I guess we kind of already have. I mean, so he falls down in the tub, and this is when you would want just a stand-up shower. Because like I think if you're an old man and you fall down in the tub, you kind of get like stuck. You can't just like roll out, Because like now the tub is like, if you're falling down, now the tub is like the ledge. You can't just like roll out.
Tub is worst case scenario.
You have to like actually get up and climb out.
Yeah, you want the flat shower.
Yeah,
you,
so you
you
can
want
just
like
like
a
bust
marble
open
floor.
the door
Exactly,
and get out.
Yeah. He's the last thing. He's trying to like barrel roll out of the tub. It's like his last effort. I also, it is rough booking in a Econo Lodge hotel at 76 years old, because you think at 76
I think
you're gonna be, you'll have the funds to at least
times
stay in
are
a hotel.
hard, man.
They are. That's why I'm saying like it's rough to be 76
but also
years old.
a lot of old people are really. First of all, I don't even think an Econo Lodge is like that bad. I think it just depends on the area in which the Econo Lodge is located. It's not it's not 5 stars. It's like a 2.5 star.
I'm picturing
hotel.
like a highway motel where your door opens to cars going 70 miles an hour, and you're like, nope, I'm gonna stay in my room.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few Econos around here. So my thing, like growing up, if a motel is like the door. This is just how my brain did it. I don't even know if this is true. But a hotel, you enter your room inside the building. A motel, often the entry is like outdoors, like to your room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So Econos are typically hotels.
Okay.
Like they're still indoor.
Okay.
So when
they're
I'm
just saying it's a
Googling
motel.
Econos, like, I mean, because it's an economy, like 2-star hotel, you
Yeah.
know, but a lot of old people, I feel like, especially old men, they're like, that's all I need is like a double bed, a warm shower, and a pot of coffee. And that's it.
That's
like,
true.
why they don't need to go to the Hilton for that.
That's
They're not
true.
spending extra money.
Yeah, I just mean like obviously I don't think it's sad if you are if you're older and you're staying in an Econo Lodge hotel. I'm not saying I look down on that. I'm just saying if you were 30 years old, you imagine by the time you're 76, you're gonna have some enough financial freedom to stay in a Sheraton. You know what I mean? Like
Maybe.
at
least
you
like
know, or
a
like a nice
Marriott,
Airbnb.
you know,
yeah, exactly.
at least the Marriott.
I'm 76. I worked my whole life, and
Yeah.
times are rough, and people are living off retirement savings. Devious things happen with corporations.
Even the Holiday Inn. I would say out of hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, which I don't know. I guess Holiday Inn is its own, its own thing. I thought it was a hotel, but
Yeah.
I would stay at a Holiday Inn. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I have.
I have.
Shout out.
I've stayed in many, especially in high school when we were doing travel baseball.
Absolutely.
Holiday
I've
Inns.
stayed in some dodgy places, actually.
Yeah.
I have stayed in motels with like the outdoor. I've never felt safe in a motel.
So I once stayed in an Airbnb in Tocumen, Panama, and this is right by the airport. And this is when we've talked about this a couple of times on the podcast, but there were a bunch of protests going on in Panama, and I was living on and off in Panama for 9 months. And so I was staying right by the international airport in Panama City in Tocumen because I didn't want the protests to be able to block me from flying out if I was further away. And I get to the Airbnb, and it's sort of like a motel setup where it's one guy, but there's 4 or 5 different doors and like a line of sort of like these small condominium houses. And I get in, and the guy drops me off, and he says in broken English, he's like, I wouldn't walk around nighttime here. And I was like, okay, like
Fair
it
warning.
looks
Thanks,
it
man.
looks okay. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
It looked like Panama.
He's like, no, you're gonna get robbed and murdered.
Yeah, he's like,
for
don't.
sure.
Yeah, he's like, don't walk around. The
He's
sun
like,
comes
I actually
down.
saw somebody just like you last week, and
Yeah.
just say he didn't check out.
Yeah, I dropped someone off, and they made it 3 steps out of the
Yeah.
cab, but I had already started going, so I was like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
make it. I can't do K turns. It was a whole thing. But he was like, yeah, don't walk around at nighttime. And it looks like Panama. Like, it didn't look terrible, but it's definitely, it's not Park Slope. And I'm like, it's like, this place seems fine. I think the guy was overreacting.
Always trust the locals.
Yeah.
Zach.
And he was, and so I'm walking around, and keep in mind, this is like 3 p.m. So the sun is well in the sky.
Yeah.
I walk into just like the local deli, and there are 2 13-year-olds carrying rifles just like over their fucking.
Excuse me.
Yeah, like they're like 2 teenagers, couldn't have been more than 15 years old, probably like 13
Yeah.
years old. And even in like rural Panama, you saw people carrying machetes or like maybe guns, but they were always on farms or
Yeah,
like somewhere out in the
it
open.
makes sense.
Yeah. And then I saw, and in the city, you like never really see that. Like, no one's going to carry a gun. And then I saw another car come by where a guy was like casually hanging a rifle out the window, but like driving by, but it wasn't pointed at me, but it was like, I'd never been that close to like a car driving by with a visible gun. And I was like, I think that guy might have been onto something about
I
not
think he
walking
might
around
have been
here at
right.
night. And so that was like the scariest like motel style experience I
Yeah.
had. It was technically an Airbnb, but it was like when motels put their listing on Airbnb. I stayed there. It was fine. I did not leave after 5 p.m. I made sure I had everything I needed, and then I left at 6
You
a.m.
weren't playing games.
I left at 6 a.m. the next morning. So that was the sketchiest motel experience I've had.
Yeah. I mean, I've not had any encounters like that, but yeah, I've stayed in motels that just make me feel like there's probably like a pedophile in the next room. You know, like we've kind of chatted about how like I feel like I test the mirrors and do all that, but yeah, like sometimes motels, they just look like that certain people actually live at these motels, and they're like sex offenders that are like living
on the run.
Yeah,
they can't have a permanent residency because
Yeah.
they have to register in that neighborhood as a
yes,
sex offender.
Yes. So yeah, I've stayed in places like that where and I could be making it up. Like, also we clearly know I'm a very anxious person that.
No, but have you seen the videos that people post on TikTok where a guy will straighten a fucking hanger and put it underneath the hotel door
Yeah.
and try to unlatch the door. And there's a girl inside the hotel room taking a video, and she's like, look at this fucking guy. Like, he's trying to like
I'm
unlatch my
always
door right
slapping.
now.
If the hotel doesn't have the like lock at the
Yeah.
top of the door, I don't feel comfortable. I'm always locking that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting in here.
Yeah, but it's like crazy. Like these girls are they're staying by themselves, and these guys either they work for the hotel or, like you said, they live there, so they probably saw them
Yeah.
come in alone, and they go to the room, and this hanger, the metal hanger, comes underneath the door, and there's wire comes up to the handle, and they're trying to like find the handle to hook it and
Yeah,
pull
to-
it down, and these girls are filming it, going like, I don't know what to do, like what. This guy's trying to break into my room, and this one girl like grabs onto the hanger.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm
and then
grabbing
lets it
onto
go,
that
and the
shit.
guy snakes it back out from under the door,
Yeah.
and she puts the camera, the phone up to the little fishhole eye thing in the door, and you could see the guy kind of like looking in to see what's going on and run away. But like, if that was happening while you were sleeping and you forgot to chain the door, and a guy just fucking like unlatched your door,
Yeah.
and
Scary stuff.
fucking kills you or rapes, like that shit is
Yeah.
happening. So
No.
I don't blame you for having the anxiety. As a guy, I don't have the same anxieties.
Yeah.
And
Unless you're like at Diddy's hotel or something.
I don't think he's trying to unlatch the door. He's just walking into his own house being like, oh, you think a sleepover means you can pass out without getting ass fucked?
Yeah.
That is not the deal here. This is my own. This
Yeah.
is my own house. But yeah, so this guy, just to finish the shower article, this guy, court documents from the lawsuit alleged that Alex Cronus checked into the Econo Lodge, and after the third-degree burns happened, two people in the motel heard his screams and removed him from the tub. He had to go through skin grafting because he had deep tissue, second and third
Wait,
degree
when
burns.
did he die?
2021, but the lawsuit is happening.
Wait,
like it just settled.
but no, like when did he? I thought he died like on site.
He, after spending several months in the hospital, it says Cronus ultimately passed away on June 19th, 2022.
Oh my God.
Cronus was never married, had no children, so his niece filed a lawsuit against the motel
It's
on
like
his
the
behalf.
saddest story we've ever told on Breaking Takes, Zach.
Yeah, I don't know.
He
I
had
read
no
this story.
family, nothing.
I
Like,
read this story and I was like,
just a distant niece, like who's now rich.
Yeah.
So congratulations to her. But
yeah, the headline
that
just,
is so sad.
The headline just grabbed my attention, and now that I'm reading this story, it's like it is very sad, and at the same time, it's like I'm trying to picture if I was one of the family members outside of the shower and I heard someone scream in the bathroom. There are 1,000 things that would be going through my mind that's happening to that person in the bathroom before getting burned by the shower. Like I'd be like, you know, he fell. He's a 76-year-old guy. Like he fell and
like, hurt.
cracked his
Yeah.
hip. You know, like
well, he probably did do that too.
after the burn. So it's or like I don't know, like fucking having a heart attack or something, or like just like something like I wouldn't be expecting burning to death from a hotel shower. And 150 degrees.
Oh,
I did not
gosh.
think 150 degrees could kill you, but apparently 150 degrees gives you third-degree burns in under a few seconds. And it goes up very quick. So like 120 degrees, I was reading, takes about 4 minutes to scald you. And then like as it goes up, it gets like less and less and less from 120 to 150. So like you're fine up to 120, but then like your risk shoots through the roof past 120. And apparently like there's a lot of places that don't monitor the heat very closely. So they just like let the water heater just like skyrocket. And then all of a sudden you haven't checked it in 2 weeks and it goes from like 130 to 152. And you're like,
Yeah.
fuck, we just killed an old man.
Also, like old people have thin skin as well, like literally. So it probably didn't have to like go through a lot of.
Yeah.
I feel like awful. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to like be putting this visual into people's minds.
It's
but
almost
yeah.
like it's like the melted Pringles can that we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast. But that's
R.I.P. to this
yeah.
man.
Yeah, R.I.P. There is good news. So the final trial order entered by the court on July 11th gave Cronus estate $1,271,000 to cover medical expenses, $16,000 for funeral, and $250,000 for pain and suffering, and $500K for punitive damages. This is the most interesting part to me. The defense was given 30 days to file an appeal. The defense claimed that Cronus didn't even stay at the motel.
Right.
The attorneys for the defense declined to comment. So their appeal
So they're saying like,
is that
oh,
he didn't stay there.
Then how did he get there and how did he die?
I don't know. But
Well, I guess they are just saying like maybe like, oh, he was just there as like a guest of somebody else. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't book it. But still,
Yeah,
like, you
right?
still stay at the hotel. But my thing is like corporations will, especially corporate defense lawyers, will say literally anything to get out of a lawsuit.
We know.
Yeah, like their defense will be this guy was an interdimensional traveler that accidentally peeked into the human dimension and he came into the shower when it was on and he's, not like they'll just like give the most insane excuses for why someone hurt themselves when, like, imagine you're the CEO of Econo Lodge and you found out that a man died in your shower from it being too hot. You'd be like, look, here's $10 million. Like, this is horrible. This is never like it's just like oddly, I mean, it's not odd because it's corporations, but there's like a weird like coldness and denial to anything that ever goes wrong with a corporation. And those sirens are going off right now because someone else just got scalded by a shower.
It's possible.
In New York. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do we want to do an Am I the Asshole?
Yeah. We could do a quick Am I the Asshole?
All right. So the headline is, Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids after she accused me of stealing? So
Okay.
more details here. So I, a 25-year-old female, need some advice because my family is in an uproar over this. My sister, Emily, who is a 32-year-old female, has 3 kids, a 7-year-old son and a 5 and 2-year-old daughters. I adore my nieces and nephew, and I've always been the go-to babysitter whenever Emily needed help. I've taken them in overnight, watched them on weekends, and even took care of them for a week when Emily and her husband went on vacation. A few weeks ago, Emily called me in a panic, saying she had lost her wedding ring. She asked if I had seen it, and I genuinely had not. I helped her search the entire house, and we couldn't find it. Emily was really upset, and then we eventually gave up. A few days later, Emily called me again, this time in tears, accusing me of stealing her ring. She said she couldn't think of anyone else who would have taken it since I'm the only person who's been in the house alone. I was shocked and hurt that she would accuse me of something like that. I tried to convince her that I would never do such a thing, but she wouldn't listen. I couldn't believe my own sister would think so little of me. My parents then got involved and took Emily's side, saying that it was suspicious that the ring disappeared right after I had been there. They pressured me to confess and return the ring, but I stood my ground because I was innocent. In the midst of this family drama, Emily asked me to babysit her kids for a few hours because she had an emergency at work. I refused, telling her that I couldn't help someone who thought that I was a thief. She called me selfish and said I was punishing her kids for something they had nothing to do with. Now my parents are furious with me, saying the family should stick together no matter what. I'm being petty, immature, blah, 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 that I should let it go for the sake of the children. But she's refusing to do that.
Yeah.
So is she the asshole in this case?
No, I mean, babysitting kids sucks in the first place. And if you're doing it for someone who's accusing you of committing a crime that you didn't do, then that's giving you a total out to just say, no, fuck off.
Also, it's just, to me, it's like you can't blame anybody but yourself when you lose something of yours.
Yeah.
Like, so unless your sister has like a history of being a klepto, which, I mean, I've met a klepto before and they're really unique people.
What is it like being in the presence of a klepto?
Well, they're like fine, normal people, but then like you'll be like, oh, did you like take my hoodie? And you like know, like you saw it in their car. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they're like, no, like why would I take your hoodie? Like they straight up are just like, no, that's like so stupid.
Yeah.
I would never. And it's like, but I just saw it like in the back of your car.
You
like,
leave a CVS and their pockets are just stuffed to the gills.
yeah, yeah, and they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
They
Nothing.
physically
These pockets were like this
can't
before.
Not take something. They're kind
Yeah.
of like the squirrels of humans, where
Yeah.
they're just like, ooh, shiny thing. Like,
Yeah.
I must have this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so unless like this girl has a history of being a klepto, like why would you think that she would take this wedding ring? Like, can you remember where you last put it? Clearly
Yeah.
not. So
No.
I don't know why you would immediately like, and it's a tiny thing, right? It's not like a TV. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like where the TV just went missing. It's like obviously you took the TV. Like you
Yeah.
were the only one here. It's a tiny little piece of jewelry. It could be lost. It could be anywhere.
Yeah. I once heard a story about a nurse got called to this guy's house and the guy called 911 saying, you know, I'm basically so fucking constipated, like I'm gonna die, you know, like I don't know what to do. I haven't shit in a week. And they're like, all right, we'll send a nurse over there. And the nurse comes over and she does this thing called the manual removal, which is like you
Up the
actually
butt.
have to put your fingers up some dude's ass or whoever it is and pull it out.
Yeah, you lube them up.
And she pulled it out and his fucking wedding ring was in there. And the guy goes, oh yeah, I've been looking for that for a few
That
days.
is hilarious.
And the nurse has to fucking, she's cleaning off a wedding ring with shit in the sink and gives the wedding ring back to the guy. So it's like, that guy probably thought either someone stole it
Yeah.
or he misplaced it or
How
he
did
lost
you
it.
swallow it?
And it ends
like,
up-
I don't understand.
And it ends up being in his feces. But like, how can this girl be so sure that this wedding ring is not sitting in her bowels right now, getting ready
That's
to be
fair.
shit out?
It could be
possibility.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere. So it's a total dick move to like just blame somebody for it. I'm sure you're in a panic because I'm sure it was probably a good chunk of money and has some significance. But also you have 3 kids. Like accuse them before. Like I would
Oh,
accuse
yeah.
the kids of misplacing it
Yeah.
or like taking it from, you know, the countertop that I had put it on before I would accuse my
Yeah.
sister.
If I was the accused sister, I would do things to make
Now
my
I'm
sister,
definitely stealing
I would,
shit.
I would steal other shit around the house.
Yeah.
And I would do things to make my sister believe that I stole her wedding ring. Like I'd come in with a Birkin bag and she's like, where did you get that? And you go, oh, I paid all cash
Wow.
for it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, where'd you get all that cash? Oh, I came into a lot of cash recently. You know, there's pawn shops everywhere.
Yeah.
Just, you know, it
Yeah.
is what it is. I would fuck with my sister. So you deserve to get fucked with so hard if you
Mm-hmm.
accuse your sibling of stealing something as valuable and sentimental as a wedding ring.
Yeah. Now, when she finds the wedding ring, like, how do you approach the person that you accused, you know, and that you started this whole family war and
Yeah.
made to feel like they were such a shitty, lying kleptomaniac. And now you're like, oh,
Yeah,
by
it's
the
like,
way.
hey, Claire, listen. So we found the ring. It was in the dog shit. He ate it and shit
Yeah.
it out. So my bad on destroying the family. But also, me and John are going out to see a movie tonight. Do you think that now that this is settled, that you can come over and watch my kids for 5 hours? Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.
Yeah. And also, like, for free. Like, the sister is coming over to watch her nieces and nephew out of, like, love for free. And
Yeah.
you're gonna, maybe if she did take the wedding ring, it's like, oh, I was just like, you owe me for the last 5 years of babysitting your kids
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took it and pawned it as a paycheck to myself.
Exactly. Yeah. It's your owed salary for putting up with her bullshit.
It's like it got repossessed
Yeah.
by she's the wedding band repo woman.
Yeah. Yeah. She should just if I'm the accused sister, I'm praying for a divorce and a second wedding so I can actually steal the wedding ring for the second wedding, assuming that they find the one from the first. So then it's like this whole thing of like, oh, okay, she didn't actually steal the first ring. And then that opens you up to stealing anything that point forward, because there's no way they're
Yeah,
going to
that's
accuse you
true.
twice for the same thing.
That's true.
So it could be a blessing in disguise of giving you a free steal of a wedding ring later on if your sister's first marriage fails. So fingers crossed if you're the sister, the accused sister.
Yeah, no, I leave it to you to really think outside the box and like find
Yeah.
a way to hustle the situation.
Yeah, exactly. You're always hustling.
That's what we do
Always
here.
always on the grind. You know, you could always melt it down, like the guy's skin in the shower. You know, to make some golden object. I would melt it down and make some sort of dildo, and then
How? A ring it would melt into like the size of a dime. Like, what are you talking
a,
about?
a keychain dildo. and
All
just keep it on my keychain, and your sister's like, "What's that?" And you're like, "Oh, it's just a golden dildo with a little diamond in the center."
Yeah, I think you need more jewelry to melt down, you know.
What's the smallest acceptable dildo?
Like maybe pinky size, like a little bullet, right?
Is there like would that even be considered a dildo? Is there like a micro penis market for dildos?
Yeah,
like
there's
someone
a
that has like a
market for
micro penis
everything.
fetish where they're like, I
mean,
want to like have something inside me but not be able to tell if it's there.
I guess. I mean, I don't know if. Yeah, I'm just assuming. Yeah, like a little bullet sized thing. Yeah, but I don't know if that's considered a dildo. I don't know. If
Yeah.
that's a very specific
Yeah, I mean
terminology.
people shit in water bottles and or like fucking packages, pee in water bottles, shit in packages, and then
Fart
ship it
in
off.
jars.
People pay for
Yeah.
this shit.
Yep.
Melt down a micro penis dildo from a wedding ring, from your sister's wedding ring. Pee on it a little bit, get some feces on it, and mail it to a rich guy that wants to have a collector's
It kind
item.
of would be cool though if you did melt it down and like designed it like a mini penis.
Yeah.
But I don't. It would be really small.
Yeah, it's like the way that people keep those little Coke spoons on their keychain.
Yeah.
Someone thinks it's a Coke spoon. They're like, "Oh, that's a really cool Coke spoon." You're like, "Oh, it's actually a micro penis dildo." Have you ever?
But you couldn't.
You ever
I
used
don't.
one?
You can't even feel that.
I guess you could use it.
Then
as
it
like
would get lost again
Well, it could be-
inside of vagina.
It could be a fancy Q-tip, especially with the diamond on the end. As long
Yeah.
as you don't poke too hard, you might like get some good stuff out with a
Perhaps.
micro penis diamond Q-tip.
Maybe.
Maybe there's a market for it.
Yeah. We'll find out
Yeah.
maybe at the pawn shops what
Yeah.
they're doing with it.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Breaking Takes. If you have any scoops on the micro penis market, definitely send us a DM, because you never know when one of us is going to come into a stolen wedding ring. We're not angels on this show.
Yeah.
We're down to do the devious things to get shit done. So let us know about that. Send us a DM. Thank you guys for tuning in. Rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, breakingtakes.supercast.com. We just put up another bonus episode up there. And so I think there's 9 or 10 total now. A bunch of hours for you guys to subscribe to. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. We love you guys.
Wow. We love you guys.
We love you guys.
We love each other. Wow. All
Yes.
right. Yeah. Join us on the next
I will
episode.
say anything to get more money on
Me too.
Supercast. And if love is one of them, then I'm willing to. But I do love even just like the small comments and just
No, yeah.
just the micro, what do you call it? Speaking of micro penis, like the micro validations of just like on a day to day of like, oh, okay, like there's a comment.
At the end of it, that's what we are. We just constantly need our ego stroked.
Yeah.
And
I'm a love addict and an ego addict. So I'm going to say I love you to get a response for
love you guys.
what I need.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Talk to you next time. Oh, God, I love you so much. Fuck, yes.